Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this other session of Edugo.AI webinars. Happy Friday, and I really hope that this session might be insightful, useful for you, and also a nice way to close the working week together. So I just would like, before starting, to say sorry maybe for the ones who joined the webinar 1 hour in advance. It was not an April Fool. It was just that we changed the time zone, and so Zoom didn't update, so sorry for the inconvenience, but I'm happy to have all of you here today, since today we are going to talk about gamification and how to use it to boost your language student engagement. So first of all, I am Nicole Carvelli, and I work in the business development team for Edugo.AI, and together there is here with me also Giuseppe Tomasello, who is the company founder and CEO, and also who is going to be the main speaker of this session. So before actually diving deep into the topic, I would like to ask you all, guys, where are you from? Because we'd love to know how international are we, and know a little bit more about you, and also if this is the first time that you are joining us, or no, or if you are already used to our sessions. So let us know in the chat box. Okay, I see people from Spain, so it's afternoon also there, Hungary, Austin, Texas, UK, Iran. Oh, great, really from everywhere, Italy too, so ciao. Great, Budapest again, Hungary. That's fantastic. So while you are typing all these, where your location, I would like to ask Giuseppe actually to join us and to give maybe a brief introduction of yourself and tell us more about what we're going to talk today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nicole, for your kind introduction. And thank you again to all of you for joining us today. Today's topic is actually a great topic. We believe is at the core of what we do at Edugo, and we believe is actually the solution for one of the biggest problems in language education, which is student engagement. And so before we start diving into the topic, I would like to give a brief introduction about myself. So my name is Giuseppe Tomasello. I'm the CEO and founder of Edugo. I have an international background. So I've been living in many different parts of the world, in 4 different continents. And recently I just came back from China because I've been spending the last 7 years in Shanghai, in China. I can see some of you in the chat also from Shanghai. So that's great. And so originally I'm from Italy, but I've been living many years in China. And I started this company because I wanted to solve a problem for myself, which was 7 years ago, I arrived in China, and I am a passionate language learner. But when I started learning Chinese, it was very tough for me. So I started building like a software that helped me to memorize better, all these specific words and sentences in Chinese. And that was really the origin story of how I started Edugo. And today, Edugo, after 5 years, is actually like a software that is used by language institutions around the world, some of the biggest language institutions in the world. And we cover 7 different languages, and we deploy like a white-labeled platform. So language institutions and also language teachers can use Edugo in order to move online and grow their business online. And so that has been my journey, and it's also very important to understand where I'm coming from, because I bring actually a user-centric approach in the design of learning solutions. And today, gamification is actually, as we're going to discover today, is actually being user-centric and being focused on the student experience. So in order to start, I would like to share my screen because I prepared some slides, so it's easier for us to follow. And so like the agenda of today will be the first part. We're going to talk about what's called PBLs, or point, badges, and leaderboard, as a very simple game mechanics that you can apply in order to bring gamification in your language course. But then we're going to see also that PBLs are just like the beginning. What really is important is actually to analyze what are the psychological drives behind the gamification. And so we're going to explore a framework that's called the Octalysis framework, which is a very popular framework for gamification. And so we're going to explore some of these psychological elements that you can use for boost your student engagement in language learning. And at the end, we're going to see a case study about Edugo.AI White-labeled Platform and how we actually apply some of these core psychological drives in a real platform, and how you can actually use it in order to create a gamified language course using our technology. Okay, so I'm very excited actually about that. And the first part actually, gamification is a tool, is a solution. But actually, the first of all, before talking about the solution, we would like to analyze what is the problem. And the problem is actually that in education in general, and education for language learning more specifically, we have engagement crisis. So like the main problem is that the students are disengaged. And so you can see here in the image, there is a student sleeping in front of the laptop, following probably a language class. And it's, unfortunately, this is the majority of these online language courses are very boring and make the student very disengaged. And the real reason why students are disengaged is because the design process is usually in education in general is a top-down design process. What that means means that probably you have like a pedagogical or like an expert or a curriculum developer that develops a curriculum and content. Then the teachers are using this curriculum in order to teach. And then the student is actually, attending to these lectures during the class. And this kind of process makes the student very disengaged because the kind of design is not optimized for student engagement. The design is optimized for learning outcomes. So because those pedagogical experts are creating those learning outcomes. What we believe might be the solution, and gamification is the key of this, is that actually to bring the student at the center of the designing of these learning experiences. So if there is just one concept I would like to give you for this webinar, is that gamification is not just creating games, but it is actually to apply a human-centric design approach. I can see that there is a problem with connection. Oh, no, okay, I experienced this problem with your students. Okay, sorry, I just read the problem in the chat. Yeah, so do you have the same problem with your students? Do you feel like your students' engagement is not that high? If that is the case, actually, we're going to describe some techniques in order to increase student engagement. So let's go to the second slide. And so I would like to give you like a really simple gamification definition, which gamification is the application of game design elements and game principles in non-game context. What that means is that we can take some of the design elements from games and apply it in, for example, in language learning. And this can happen also offline, but also online. And we have many examples of companies that are doing that. In fact, if you go to the App Store and you download any kind of language learning app nowadays, you will find actually three different elements that are really common in all these language learning apps, which are points, badges, and leaderboards. Those are called game mechanics. And those are simply some mechanisms that are integrating those apps in order to make the experience more gamified and to be more engaging for students. So points are very simple. So it's a way to give feedback and track progress for the students. And and this is actually like the first element usually is implemented in terms of gamification. Badges is a way you can give some rewards to students, and leaderboard is a way that you can, the students can, in a classroom, can see compared to their other classmates, other peers, where is their position in a leaderboard. So there's also the social elements. As we can see, this is the most used way that the most common way of implementation of gamification techniques, and they are linked to psychological drives that we're going to see soon. So, as I was saying before, gamification is the application of game techniques into the non-game environments. But another definition that I think is more accurate is the gamification is the craft of delivering a fun and engaging elements found in games and applying them in real world or productive activities, such as learning a language. And so this process is also called human focused design. and it's a design process that put emphasis on human motivation. And so gamification is not just games, but is actually focusing on human motivation. And it happens that games are really good in focusing on human motivation. And because they've been actually experimenting with this for many years or even centuries, if you take the example of board games. And so like you can see the kids, for example, are the best example. Kids are spending out many hours playing games. And sometimes their parents need to even like punish them to not play too much games. And so there is some kind of intrinsic motivation behind games. And that works really well with games. So the idea of gamification is to take these kind of psychological principles and apply them in other contexts. And so this is human-focused design. So we need to design learning experiences that are focused on this kind of intrinsic motivation of the students. So in order to explain more about like those kind of motivations, we would like to introduce you what's called the Octalysis framework. This is a framework that it takes in consideration 8 main, what they call core drives. So there are 8 core motivations that are bringing those people playing games and being very engaged in games. But really, those 8 motivations are applied in any kind of context. So any one of us is doing anything in our life when there is at least one of these motivation involved. If there is any of this motivation, there is no action. So we don't do anything because we're not motivated. So those are very important, understanding what those 8 core drives. And if you like to dive deeper on this topic, I suggest you to read the book, The Octalysis Framework from Yu-Kai Cho. It's an amazing book, and actually we don't have time, of course, to explain everything today. So we're going to give you just a general overview, application and language learning, but the book is a great resource in order to dive deeper in this Octalysis framework. And so there are 8 elements, 8 core drives, and I will just go very quickly and explain. Like you have meaning, empowerment, social pressure, unpredictability, avoidance, scarcity, ownership, and accomplishment. So those are the 8 drives, and the framework divides them into left brain core drives, which are the one related more to logic and ownership and analytical force. And you have also the one on the right brain, which are more related to creativity and sociality and curiosity. And also the difference between left and right, in the left side are called extrinsic motivation. So those one are like, for example, in a game context is when you're giving some rewards to people to accomplish a task. That is actually like an extrinsic motivation. But the intrinsic motivation on the right side of the brain are the one actually that you are intrinsically motivated in doing something because you are expressing some of your internal needs. For example, playing chess is the kind of game that intrinsically motivates people to play because there is a creativity involved into playing the game. And so you can play many people get very involved in chess because they are intrinsically motivated in doing so. So that's the first division. The second division is also very interesting because it's on the top and the bottom of the Octalysis framework. You have white hat gamification and black hat gamification. What that means, the white hat gamification or core drives are elements that make us feel powerful, fulfilled, and satisfied. So there are positive feelings that we are giving, for example, meaning. And one of really good example of gamification for meaning is, for example, the contributors of Wikipedia. People are contributing in Wikipedia because they are basically giving like their contribution and spending a lot of time and resources because they're feeling they feel empowered by this big mission of saving the world knowledge, right? So these are positive drives people to contribute. But you also have black hat core drives, which actually make the user feel obsessed or anxious or addicted. Really, a classic example is gambling, right? People actually, they gamble a lot because there is all these negative core drives, like unpredictability, right? Like a slot machine, you never know what's coming next. But also like the kind of feeling of like not like losing money or want to earn money. Those are all the kind of like negative feelings, but they're also very powerful drives. And as you can see, like those are really different kind of like driving forces of the human beings. And so you need to be able to balance those different kind of driving forces in order to create something that is really engaging. So in order to give you a better understanding about this context, we prepare like an example. And the example that we used here is a Duolingo example. Why? Because Duolingo is the most popular language learning app nowadays. And so like we analyzed what are the core drives that Duolingo use in order to keep the students very engaged. So we have the core drive number 2, as you can see here in the framework, is actually the development and accomplishment core drive. And usually this core drive is the one that is most used for education, because people learn a new language because they want to develop themselves and they want to accomplish, you know, the proficiency, so they can accomplish something in their life. And so like Duolingo is using badges and leaderboard in order to, and leveraging in this very powerful core drive of development. And so you can see in those screenshots, you have all these kind of gamification elements, such as, you know, the owl saying you're making it look easy. So like there's a pushing the users to continue playing. So like it's kind of like giving them a progress, and you also can earn gems, you can earn points, experience points. You can see the progress in a kind of like map, so you can see that actually you're progressing. And these are very powerful gamification elements. But also Duolingo, actually we figure out by doing this analysis, they're also using a black hat gamification system, which is actually the core drive number 8, which is loss and avoidance. Because Duolingo, what they're doing is they are creating this daily streak. So basically, you need to go back in the Duolingo app in order to learn every day. And the problem with that is that you keep learning in the Duolingo app and coming back every day because you don't want to lose your streak. So it's kind of like loss and avoidance mechanic. And so like the more, the longer is your streak, the more actually you develop this kind of anxious feeling of not losing the streak. And that actually that can cause also negative effects. So one really interesting study about Duolingo is the fact that when people lose their streak, then usually quit the app. So once you lose it, maybe you have like 300 days streak and then you lose it, then you quit because actually like you lost it and you have very negative feelings. And so those actually can be also very dangerous techniques that can actually make you lose your customer, lose your student after. So you need to be able to balance that. And of course, Duolingo, they're doing a great job. They're using all amazing technique of data analysis to really boost their student engagement. I just forgot to say that we will have at the end of the webinar like a session for Q&A. So all the questions you guys are asking right now, and I see already there are some questions and some comments, we can have a discussion at the end of the presentation. Okay, so we now analyze the Duolingo case study. Let's now analyze like what we call it like level 2 Octalysis. So the level 2 Octalysis is, now that we have an understanding on how it works, the one single gamification element, let's now put this kind of gamification elements in what's called a user journey. So your student is going through your learning experience, will go through different stages. For example, you have the discovery stage, which actually when he is learning about your program. Then you have onboarding, when he actually is going through the onboarding process of your program. Then you have a scaffolding, when you start to build up the experience inside the program, so he activates. And then you have the end game that actually achieves the goal. Language learning will be actually you achieve proficiency and you achieve your language learning objective. So those are the level 2 Octalysis, and it's very important that you analyze each different step and you apply gamification at each single step. And actually, we love to think about this different step of gamification to map them to a step of the funnel. And that's actually one of the things I would like to communicate is the fact that you can use gamification in order to improve your business metric for your language business, which is actually very important. For example, discovery is what in the marketing funnel is called awareness stage. Onboarding is the acquisition, so when you acquire the contact of the student. Scaffolding is the activation when the student is experiencing value, and endgame is the retention stage. So every single language learning software is using different gamification techniques at each stage of the funnel, okay? So right now, we covered the theory part, the theoretical part, and now we would like to jump in a more practical example on how you can apply actually those gamification techniques for your own business. And so at Edugo, actually, we built a platform that is doing exactly that. Is giving you the tools in order to apply very fast and very quickly those kind of gamification techniques in order to deliver value for your students. And so I would like to ask Nicole now if she can share the screen, so she will help me to demo you this part of the process. And then at the end, we're going to do for some last considerations on how those techniques are applied in the gamification setting.
Of course. So can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, maybe starting from here.
Okay, great. So thank you, Nicole. So the first part, we call it is the onboarding part, awareness and onboarding part. So we created an example from LinkedIn, how you can do awareness and onboard the student in your language learning program. For example, here Nicole is sending to me on LinkedIn a message. Giuseppe is a medical English lesson. Maybe like I am a doctor on LinkedIn, which I'm not. I'm not a doctor, but in case I am, okay, you can hyper target on LinkedIn, like for example, like a doctor, if he wants to improve his English, you say, okay, I created this lesson for you. Would you like to try? And so like what I will do is click the link. And by clicking the link, what you open this lesson, and these are a lesson about medical expression. So it's a hyper-targeted languages that I created in the platform for that target of customers. So here, Nicola is start to do some exercises, and here you can see you have very specific language, and you have also like gamification elements. For example, in this case, you have the points system. And you have also like this kind of gamification elements linked to the strikes. So 4 in a row, and then you have 5 in a row.
You are doing great. Keep going.
Okay, so here, for example, we have a gamification element that is reinforcing the fact that the student is progressing in the right direction, and actually is the teacher that can upload this kind of videos of motivation. And so already using gamification, the teacher is creating a kind of like a link or a kind of personal interaction with the student without even have to do any work. These are all automated, but there is a really powerful interaction. So the student gets familiar with the trainer and the teacher. So here Nicole is finishing the lesson, and here you can see some statistics about the total points, the bonus points, and then of course the performance. Nicole did very good. You did 6 right. And very important here, when you click finish, what will happen is that the system will ask you to create a profile. And this is very important because in this way, actually, we're moving from the onboarding stage. So the student actually is getting excited because he has a personalized language, he's getting gamified experience. Then we're going to the second stage, which actually is the acquisition stage. And this stage actually is very important because we are acquiring now the student email, the student is creating a profile in the platform, and so we acquire the contact of the student. And so the one we're seeing right now, if it's the first time you're seeing Edugo platform, is Edugo offer like a white label solution for a language school, language businesses. And so all this kind of, this will be white labels. I mean, right now you're seeing Edugo.AI because it's a demo platform. Usually all of this is all customized with colors, branding, and domain. Everything is customized according to your school, and you can create your course and content in the platform. So now we're going to the second stage. It's like, okay, now this student is in the platform, he created this account, is now enrolling a course. And here you can see the scaffolding part, which is actually like now the student is building up his profile, and you can see here you have a leaderboard. And the leaderboard is very important because you can see also other people in the community of medical English. So in this case would be other doctors that are learning as well, the same curriculum. And you can see also like what is the position of the leaderboard. And this way is actually bringing more engagement because you can compete with those other people and can actually learn together, which is a very good and powerful motivation, which is actually the core drive number 4. We're going to analyze then all these experience we're showing right now. We're going back in the slides and we're going to show you how these apply with the gamification techniques and framework that we showed before. So now the student is enrolled, is engaged, and now what we want to do is to get the students to do a live class with the trainer, right? And all this can happen also in the same course. Here the student can schedule a time slot with the trainer, and all in the same platform. You can do the booking, do the payments, and everything embedded in the same learning experience. So here the system supports also a video call, so the students will be able to jump on the video call. And we would like to show you the end game, the last part of the gamification, which is actually one of the most unique parts of Edugo system. Sorry, there is maybe someone with the audio. Maybe Nicole, you can.
Yes. Wait, I just need to do like that, otherwise I cannot. Sorry.
Guys, we are sorry about this problem about the audio. Maybe someone by mistake opened the audio. And the reason why we're doing this kind of webinar with the audio also because during the last part of the discussion also, sometimes people like to unmute themselves and we can have like a more person-to-person interaction. So I like to keep those webinars more interactive. Okay, so here you can see after the students complete the video call in the platform, here we use artificial intelligence. That's why Edugo is called Edugo.AI. And this is the artificial intelligence part of our system because the lessons that are performing the platform, they are recorded. And then our AI system will create what we call a review lesson. And as you can see here, those are like all past reviews that have been performed in the platform. So Nicole is getting one old review, maybe from 2020. Okay, so the student is building up this knowledge database. And here you can see you have the recording, and also the AI is extracting language content from the conversation and is generating a set of personalized activities after the class is over. And this is very important as well because it's connected to another core drive for gamification, which is actually like the ownership. So basically the student is building up the kind of like a database of all this content that is created over the years using the platform. And so also like this builds up like a lot of knowledge database that the students can actually go back and use it. And so it's accumulating all this language content over the years. Okay, so I think we are done from the demo part. I will go back quickly to the slides, and then I also have a bonus tool I would like to share with you. So the slide here is about like these experiences that we show you today, how they are actually connected to the gamification framework. So you have the discovery and onboarding phase. They are connected to the core drive number 2, which is development accomplishment, and also core drive 8, loss and avoidance. Because the student, remember, it does this lesson at the beginning from LinkedIn. It does the lesson, so you have all these points and straights that makes the student very excited. But at the end, it will actually ask to create a profile. And the student, if it doesn't want to lose all this progress already made, it would like to create the profile. So we're also using the loss avoidance in order to push the student to create the profile. Then we have the scaffolding part, which is actually on the leaderboard element. So, and here like we're using core driver number 5, which is social influence relatedness, which is actually like you relate to other students, you create this kind of online community, and the leaderboard is also a way that you can gamify the kind of interaction between those people in this learning community. And the last one is the ownership and possession, which is actually the review lesson we just showed to you. So the student, by using the platform, is kind of like accumulating this kind of like knowledge database. And so it becomes like an owner of this content. So it will keep staying with you on your language business, because if it's switch to another one, it will lose all this accumulated knowledge. So you're creating like some kind of sunk cost or switching costs to go to another provider. And it's also another very powerful gamification technique. Of course, this will help you to attract new students. As we show, you can send a link, you can use also for marketing. Engage your students because they will have leaderboards and there's more engaging, and retain your students over time. I have just the last tool, like it's a bonus tool I would like to share with you, which is actually like this Octalysis tool, which is actually like there are on the left side those 8 drives, and then you can move, and you can do like kind of like self-evaluation of your current language business based on the gamification framework, and you can see which one you're actually the strongest one or the weaker one. And based on this framework, and these are the tools we're using internally, you can understand which area you should work more in order to implement a better system to leverage the full power of gamification. That's it. Actually, no, there is a last part, sorry about that, which is the call to action. Okay, so if you would like to try our platform, we created actually like a waiting list and we're giving 3 months for completely for free. Not only like we're giving the platform for free, but also we're giving you coach sessions where together we can understand what is your current funnel, how you onboard students, and how we can apply those gamification techniques in order to create like a custom funnel for you. And due to like increasing demand lately, we have to create a waiting list because we don't have the capacity to go through all these requests, because we also do personalized like analysis of your current funnel. But if you join the forum and you also tell us, make us excited about your business, we can prioritize also like in your waiting list, and we can actually like deliver the platform for free to you, and we can actually work together in order to implement this in production for you. That's it. Really last one, and then we jump to last slide, and we jump to the Q&A and discussion section. If you like to get in touch with us, of course, you can use LinkedIn. Probably most of you came from LinkedIn, but also like on Instagram, you can follow our account. We publish a lot, and the video of today will be available also on YouTube. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, so we finished our presentation, and so now we would like to go to the Q&A. I already saw that there are some comments. Maybe Nicole, you can help me out to sort those comments and questions in the chat room. And then if you have any question, please feel free to ask in the chat or raise your hand and then unmute yourself, and so we can have a more direct communication.
Exactly. So I'm going through all the questions, starting from the first one that we have received. Okay, wait. Okay, so the first come from Yan Weng. Hope that I pronounced the name well. And it's asking, I wonder if this kind of extrinsic motivation also works for very little children, or if it's something.
Yeah. I mean, I think for children, the example is very, very easy to relate, because children love to play games. And so you can see already like the kind of games children are usually playing, they use a lot of extrinsic motivation. I mean, we will have to like go a little deeper in the kind of use case you would like to build for those children, but maybe you can come up with some examples of games that usually children play. For example, like they love to play Pokemons, right? At least I'm a little old. I don't know what games people are playing nowadays. When I was a kid, I was playing Pokemon. I was very obsessed with that. And basically the Pokemon, okay, Minecraft, Okay, so I can see some example. But I just give you the Pokemon example. I'm the one I know very well, because I spend countless hours playing the game. And so you have an extrinsic motivation there, which is actually like level up your Pokemon. And that's an extrinsic motivator, because you're seeing this Pokemon actually leveling up, so if part of the left side of the motivation. But also you have intrinsic, like Minecraft is an intrinsic motivation. Kids are really obsessed with Minecraft. And so on the other side, Minecraft is actually expressing the creativity part. And so that's actually is an intrinsic, because they can create a new world, they can create new elements, so they can. So there are very interesting Minecraft examples there. So I believe that both techniques, extrinsic and intrinsic, can be applied for young kids. I think those kind of motivation principles can be applied for any kind of age. It's really like, doesn't really matter. Like also very young kids understand games very well, even better than adults sometimes. I hope I answer your question, but I mean, I have to say that my experience is limited in the language learning, because that's what I've been doing for the past 5 years. If you would like to have more deeper examples, I suggest you to go and read the book. And also you can watch the TED Talk about the Octalysis framework.
Okay. Great. So let's go to the next question that comes from Clem, who is asking, where is the data available on folks who give up the app?
Sorry, can you say it again?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it comes from the beginning, and it is, where is the data available on folks who give up the app?
Okay, so it is about like
okay,
data availability for people that quit the app, or
yeah, I think
I'm not sure I understand the question. So maybe if you can jump on.
Related to Duolingo, when people quit the app after giving up on their daily streak, where is the data available?
Ah, okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so I was missing the Duolingo part because I was a little confused. Thank you for that. And we can share an article with you that actually is a Octalysis framework analysis of Duolingo. And I'm sure there is actually like the source of the information. However, I can say that Duolingo is a very good repository of data and data sets. So they offer to you, if you go to Edugo.AI, there is actually the machine learning section, and you can actually go check it out. Sometimes they release like, a repository of data about engagement and other kind of metrics. So you can go take a look there. But for the specific kind of a source of that information, I can link up the article that we about the Octalysis framework analysis.
Okay. I'm going to share with you the article in the chat box in a while. In the mean, but first, I'm just going to read the next question that comes from David, who is asking, the B2B clients I work with always wish to export the course content, curriculum, attendance, and result at the end of term, either in Excel format. Is this doable with Edugo.AI?
Oh, yes. We can actually, like in Edugo, we built, of course, like we are collecting all this kind of data about like performance, attendance, and you can export in a CSV file. And then, of course, the CSV file can be rendered in Excel or any kind of other tabular data kind of format. So absolutely, yes. So if you want, then we can also show you the platform how it works in more detail. Since it's a little bit out of the scope of the gamification, maybe we can go deeper in our call later on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
great.
For us.
You did? Okay.
I wanted lollies.
Okay, I don't think it's related.
No, exactly. Yeah, well,
yeah.
It's remote. Okay, so I don't know. Okay, I don't see other questions. So I don't know, guys, if you have other questions for us. Okay, another one is coming. First, okay, we have to.
Anna Paulina raised her hand. So if you want to unmute yourself.
Hi guys, thank you for the webinar. I'm Anna Paulina and I am director of the Long Driving School. We're working on Chinese lessons for kids between 7 and 18 years old. And my question is, do you have any supported literature to help us develop a gamification for age-specific, like age-specific, how do I say? Like I will watch the TED Talk and I will further explore the framework that you presented, but is there any more literature that we can use to actually target, for example, the kids between 7 and 12 years old where they like are more creative, the kids between 12 and 15 who are more like left brain-sided or something? Do you have anything on that?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Anna Paulina. What I can share to you is actually like, you remember I shared with you the tool about the Octalysis framework, and there's this kind of tool that you can analyze a little bit what is your gamification strategy. In the same website is actually full of examples. And I think like the best way for you to, you know, create for yourself like a gamified experience is to look at other platforms already did it, and probably like platforms that are targeting the same age group that you're targeting. And I think there you can get a lot of inspiration from. So we will link up again like the website, but if you just Google like Octalysis framework examples, you will find like a full platform full of examples, and that would be a huge booster for your inspiration. Moreover, if you like to try it out to the platform, I encourage you to try Edugo, because we can actually like provide already some already implemented solutions so you can test very quickly. Because I think one of the best way to actually implement gamification is to launch something quickly and then get feedback from your target market to see what works or what doesn't work. So these are general suggestions to anyone that is implementing any kind of like a product, is try to do like an experiment as quick as possible. Because each target market, each age group, they will have very specific things that we don't know. I don't know what kind of, maybe you're targeting people like kids in Europe learning Chinese, that maybe is a different kind of kids in Brazil learning Chinese, right? Like, and so like the best way to learn is actually do tests with your target audience.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Leah.
Okay. Great, many thanks, Anna. Then I saw that there was another raised hand, maybe from Maria. Am I correct? Or not sure. So Maria,
yeah,
but no, I don't see it anymore. So it's okay. So I might go. Okay, there is. No. Okay, we have another hand. Please, Clem, if you want to unmute yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for all this information. It was super insightful. I just have a quick question about the competitive aspect of gamification. I know that you showed the leaderboard. In my experience, there's also quite a few students out there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't have any data, they tend to be maybe the older students who want no part in, the ranking system and being compared to other learners. So do you recommend also just creating activities that are fun? They can still have points, badges, etc., but that are sort of like outside the leaderboard system? Is there a way for people to choose to be a part of that? Or do you front load all that at the beginning to kind of like create an incentive for them to create an account and be engaged and keep participating in those activities? What is a good balance for learners in general? I don't even have an age range for that.
Thank you, Clem. Actually, that's a very important point. That, as I was saying like 1 minute ago to Anna Paulina, is like each different target of or segment of students will have different kind of needs, and so like there is not just one size fits all in gamification, but most of the time you need to kind of adapt to the specific dynamic. One very like example that we experience is the fact that we're working with a school that has, let's say, like they have a kind of a customer group that they value privacy a lot, right? So they need to, like, their personal information doesn't have to be disclosed, and they don't want to be like seen by other people because they are working from some kind of like agencies that cannot be disclosed their information. In that kind of case, of course, we will create a kind of course that is only like 101, and you are not seeing any other person. You're also not even putting your real name, because the kind of use case is very specific and you don't want to have interaction with other people. And so like the Edugo system is actually like having parameters. And so you can actually set different kind of gamification parameters when you create the course. And so if you want, you can just remove the leaderboard. And so that's the reason why I was telling like you should test with your target audience and maybe like segment your target audience, not only from age group, but maybe it's more like also from the psychographic, right? Like how those people actually like are thinking in different ways. Actually, the Octalysis framework, if you go in a level 3 Octalysis, so I stopped in level 2 because I didn't want to go too long, but there's also level 3 Octalysis where you can also create a different kind of like game parameters based on segments of the market. So you can actually like have different Octalysis and experiences for different kind of segments. And that's actually the thing I will suggest again, is that you build the first version, test quickly with your target audience, get some kind of feedback, and then modify it quickly. That's actually exactly the process that we advise to go with Edugo, and that's a kind of like also personal, advisory we can give if you join our program for these 3 months. We're going to analyze with you and suggest you experiments to run on a weekly basis. So we created all a framework for running experiments and different parameters on the course implementation, get feedback from your audience. Then if you're interested, we can have another catch-up call later. We can show to you.
Great. So thank you, Clem, for the question, and also thanks also Michael and Ryan, who also did their comment in the chat box. So thank you also for that. And I will just go ahead with the other couple of questions. So one comes from Tejana, who is asking, we have more than 10 spoken languages. So how can your app, and I guess that here the reference is for Edugo.AI, help for this?
Yeah, sure. So Edugo.AI already supports like multiple languages. Right now, we have what we call target languages, which are languages actually that the student is learning. And then we have what's called like source language, which usually is the native language of the student. And so we have many different combinations. We support right now 7 target languages. On the top of my head, there are English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, Italian, Dutch, and German. We're going to...
Sorry.
And Chinese, of course. That was the beginning of course, Chinese. We are adding other languages. Soon, Arabic is going to be available, and other languages, so on and so forth. It is Brazilian or European Portuguese. Right now, actually, we have European Portuguese, but we can talk about the Brazilian part. Okay.
Okay, so I'll go with another question coming from David, who is writing. So if I understand correctly, your platform can recommend material based on the profile of the student. In my case, if I want to focus on teaching aviation English, I would like to know if we can import blogs, podcasts to use in class before the gamification elements.
Thank you, David. That's actually like a very, very important point, because today we talk about gamification, but a very important point is to talk about the customization of the content, because that also is a very important motivator that we discover over the years. If the students are learning on content that is very specific to their learning objectives, their engagement will go off the roof. And so that's exactly what we build in Edugo, is a system that you can import any kind of multimedia content. It can be video, articles, sounds, podcasts, any kind of multimedia article in our platform. And the AI system will generate exercises automatically. So we will link you up with another webinar we've done on how we describe exactly how the process of content creation actually works. And so you can actually see how easy it is to upload any kind of content that is specific for your niche market, such as aviation English. I love it. And that's actually, we should use it for the next webinar, because we use medical English, but aviation English is even more targeted. So David, we are very happy to have a call with you and look at your material, create some content together for your target audience. So highly encourage you to sign up for the waiting list, and we can work together on that.
Exactly. Okay, thank you also for this question. And okay, I don't see other questions. So I would like just to, no, okay, there is just one another. Okay, in Google Play, while writing your app for download, it's showing only from Learning Chinese point of view. Is that the only app?
Okay, that's a good point. We started, as I was saying at the beginning of the webinar, with learning Chinese, because that was our origin story, and the app is, you know, the way we started. But right now, the mobile app is not it's not our product. Our product is actually a web platform that is very mobile friendly, so you can use it in mobiles. It's optimized for mobile, but we don't have a mobile app that is supported for the white label. We will have it in the future, but if you have your business, you want to launch your own app, is a lot of work also on your side. So we decided to go with the web-based product, which is very easy to launch and very easy to maintain, and optimize also for mobile. So that's actually our solution right now. The mobile app was our first product, and it was actually, honestly, an incredibly learning experience. We reached 30,000 downloads on the app, and it was actually like a very good experience for us to learn how to go to market, how to talk to users. And now we are giving this expertise back to schools and language businesses to build their gamified and customized language platform. So sorry if you find the app, maybe we should remove it from the app store. Sorry about the great confusion.
Okay, great. So, I mean, last question was good for clarifying everything. And so in case you guys don't have a further question, I encourage you to send your submission to the form to try firsthand Edugo.AI platform. Of course, in case you will have further question, feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn or on Instagram or through our website, and we will be more than happy to have a deeper discussion with you. And now I just would like to thank you all for being with us for almost 1 hour, and for talk about and sharing your experience. Also, many thanks also to Giuseppe, who shared his knowledge. And yeah, thank you all. Have a nice day, and stay tuned, because another webinar will come in 2 weeks. So
yeah, just one thing to wrap up is, okay, thank you to all of you. I'm looking forward to interact with you in the next webinars in 2 weeks. If you want, you can follow our YouTube channel and subscribe, because the recording of this webinar will be uploaded there. And so in the future, you want to share this with colleagues, or you want to rewatch some points, you can find everything in the YouTube channels. And also we're going to send you an email with all the resources we shared today. That's it. Okay, thank you so much. It was amazing to interact with you, and I wish you a great weekend.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.